Hi, I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio, and welcome to Spotlight on Berkeley Heights, the pulse of the community. Well, it's a new year, and with a new year, there's always change, and in town we have a new administration. And not only is there a new administration, we have a new mayor. And that's what this show is all about. It's the Mayor's Roundtable. This is going to be your monthly access and update to the new mayor in town, Mayor Robert Woodruff. So let's start it right off by thanking the mayor for coming out tonight. Mayor?
Well, thank you, Doc.
Thanks, and congratulations on a great campaign. Well run, clean, honest. We like that.
Well, we hope that was our goal, and I think we met that.
No, definitely. But seriously, it's really nice to have you on board.
Thank you.
Like any transition, I'm sure there's things that have to get, for lack of a better word, cleaned up. Now, we're into a new year, new administration. What kind of things had to get closed up to get the new year started off straight?
Well, Doc, we had a fair number of contract issues that had to be wrapped up. We did that with the police just recently. The signatures went on are going on the final document. The other unions were cleaned up at the end of the year. These are 4-year contracts, and we certainly stayed within the governor's guidelines. And I think we did well. I think the unions were represented fairly, and I think they were fair deals, and I think they were very good deals for the people.
Wonderful, wonderful. Say 4-year contracts, so that means you're up in 4 years too, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
So as a mayor, you have a 4-year term.
I wanted to make sure it was a 4, not a 3.
There you go. Okay.
You got it.
So you mentioned the police department. Were there any other loose ends that had to get cleaned up with the police department?
Yes, as many people no doubt know, in town we had some issues with our prior chief who commenced litigation. That litigation has been terminated.
Oh, great. And
we have been operating with an acting chief, John D. Pasquale, and I trust within the very, very near future we can address that issue and make it more permanent.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's fantastic. So it sounds like a lot of things got cleaned up. However, I don't think the swap got cleaned up. What's the status with the swap?
Okay. We are currently in a position, we are awaiting information from our architect, and where we're at basically is we need to get an idea that if we remain on this site, and that is build what needs to be done, build what needs to be built on this site, and then move from this current structure into that site, and then destroy this, what those costs would be. Okay. And we anticipate getting those numbers sometime in early February. There are a sufficient number of people in town who have asked to get that information, and I think it's appropriate. And we've given our architect the obligation to do that, and then we trust within the next month we should have those numbers. And then at that point in time, we can determine whether or not to proceed at that time and ask and request from our township planner what his recommendations are. We have asked that they give us 3 real areas. One would be mixed use, one would be commercial, and one would be residential. At which point in time, decisions will be made. There'll be more public meetings, not only here, but if and when a decision is made with respect to the choice decision, if you will, of this council, then the planning board. We go to the planning board, and there'll be public meetings in the planning board.
So there's a lot of steps that still have to get done with the swap.
A lot of steps, and we're very grateful. We've had, as you know, 5 meetings with the public, and I thought they were very beneficial. A lot of people in town had some very, very good ideas, and we have followed up on some of those ideas. There was some misinformation out there a few months ago that decisions had been made, and that was far from the truth. And I think the people understand now that that, in fact, was not the case. And we are proceeding and doing a due diligence in appropriate manner. And I think within the next month or so, we'll be prepared to take another step.
Nice, nice. You know, and I'm going to digress for a minute. I think everybody needs to understand why we're here and why we're going to be back every month is to take care of that word you just used, misinformation. It's easy to say things, it's easy to half-hear things. And you've committed to these shows every month now, maybe not in the summer, but basically 10 to 12 times a year to clear up those issues. Is that correct?
Absolutely, Doc. We're trying to do, we felt that by doing the meetings with respect to the swap, we were doing what the township deserves to be done, and that is get the information out. And we'll continue to do that. And many people have come up to me and other council members during this process and indicated that they are appreciative of the fact that we are being open and notorious about this
Excellent,
process.
excellent.
And we intend to continue to do so.
So the bottom line, though, is we have to do some improvements with the infrastructure of City Hall and the police department. That's kind of the big motivation here, correct?
That's correct. And really, no matter what side people take, and there are a variety of sides in this, and I understand that, but no matter what side, I think there is a consensus that the current structure is inefficient, unsafe, and does not provide for, most importantly, the employees of the town.
Yeah.
And they can operate in a safe and efficient manner. I don't think there's any doubt about that. The question is how to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what
Okay.
we're working on.
Well, it sounds like you're doing due diligence, and we do appreciate it. We're going to look for future information on that as it comes forward. So let's go to something a little bit more touchy-feely. I believe Memorial Field is on your target list as well. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Doc. Former Mayor Ted Romenko and former
Yeah.
prosecutor, also of the county, who's a resident in town, came to me about 2 months ago. And this was really, I guess, at the initial urging of members of the VFW, and they wanted to examine and take another look at which is really across the street, as we know, the memorial to veterans who have fought and/or also who gave their lives. It was in significant disrepair. There was no doubt about that. And we were kind of putting a Band-Aid on the problem for the last couple of years, and it was determined that this matter has to be addressed. So Ted came forward and asked to be able to do something, and we authorized, meaning the elected body authorized a committee. And ironically, it includes 2 former mayors, Leon Ciferni and John Alward, and a police officer, Trent Fettis, and we've got some assistance from our downtown beautification, Julie Lloyd, and there are a lot of people working together on it. We've got Tom Barton from Recreation. So we need to, what it'll entail, obviously, is the raising of money. Okay, as does everything else.
Sure.
And in fact, next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday rather, at the meeting, Mr. Romenko or someone at his authority will come in and are going to give another presentation. They've set up, we're in the process of setting up a 501c3.
Oh, nice.
For purposes of individuals making contributions. And it's going to require a decision by the council, and we certainly request the input of the people. In my personal feeling is, a memorial has to be a memorial for 365 days a year, not just one. And it's my feeling that while that's an extremely attractive site on the corner, and it ends up being the Christmas tree, and it ends up being the creche, ends up being the menorah, which is certainly a nice thing, I think there has to be a level of solemnity to that area, and I think we need to commit to that. And I think Mr. Romenko and the rest of the members of that committee tend to agree with me. And we believe we can find places very close, very proximate to where we are, to perhaps deal with the Christmas tree, and what have you. But if you're going to deal with a memorial, and this country obviously tends a great deal to honor its heroes.
Sure.
And to pay respects to those who have given their lives, who have made substantial sacrifices. And I think for us to do this, we need to allocate this area specific. And fortunately, I mean, it's not going to be a cheap, an inexpensive venture, but we have a lot of the local landscapers and some companies have volunteered to provide services as well as materials. So we think once we get it going, we're unsure specifically as to what it's going to cost. There's a general thought, perhaps in the area of $60,000 to $65,000. So we hope that once we get it up and running, we can, raise the money and get this done. Hopefully by this memorial.
So you have some plans already lined out.
Yes.
Will the wall stay? Is it just landscaping type changes, or
the wall stays? There's going to be a lot of new shrubbery and trees, and the beautification committee has been involved to the extent that we're going to comply with the color of the bricks has been
make it consistent with the downtown area and the theme they have going forward.
Absolutely, as well as the usage of benches and various other things which the which the Downtown Beautification Committee has paid a lot of attention to. So we're seeking to be consistent with that.
Guys, nice.
Yeah. So
Nice.
again, once that is firmed up from a standpoint of a council approving it, then we're going to be very active in seeking the assistance of the people and our businesses in town to help us.
Wonderful. Shake the trees and get that done, like you said, by Memorial Day.
We hope to, yes.
That sounds great. That sounds great. So, you know, it's nice to see that Memorial Field is going to have a 501c3, be a fundraiser, a nonprofit, but the town doesn't run on nonprofits. The town's got a budget. So I know there's a lot of things going on with the budget, but before we take a short break, how's it looking, Mayor?
Okay.
What's the bottom line? How
Well,
much have you guys sharpened your pencils?
We've just started. We had our first budget meeting this past week. We'll have another one this coming week, and we will do that probably for the next 5 or 6, 7 weeks, and hope to have a budget wrapped up sometime in April, March or April. That's our goal. The governor with the 2% cap, you know, has essentially given us an opportunity. Okay, I mean that is, we can simply say, look, we have this and no more.
Yeah.
Okay, and but at the same time, as you and I have spoken of before, most people don't understand or necessarily appreciate the fact that every one of their tax dollars,
Sure.
the township only gets about 15 or 16 cents.
Wow.
So we're running this township on, I said, on
Pretty
a tax
tight,
dollar,
pretty
very
tight strings.
extremely
Wow.
tight.
Wow. You know, that's hard to believe with everything that we have in town here. So what I want to do, I want to take a short break right now.
Very well.
And then when we come back from the break, I'm going to pick that up so we really won't be interrupted in discussing what's happening to our money if it's not going back into the infrastructure and servicing the people. So Mayor Woodruff, you're doing a great job tonight on your inaugural show and your State of the State Roundtable address. I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio at the Mayor's Roundtable, and we'll be right back. Tiffany Escott is the Executive Director of the Berkeley Heights YMCA, and she's going to tell us, how do you achieve serving the community at the YMCA?
Well, the one thing that YMCA does is we are here for the community, for all ages. We have everything from youth classes for 1-year-olds up to teens. We have a child care center there that serves preschool, half-day kindergarten, and after school. We also have our health and wellness, and we also have some specialized programs. We have a 12-week free program for Livestrong cancer survivors, and we also have osteoporosis classes as well as arthritis and balance and coordination.
And then there's yoga, and then there's body sculpting, and then there's creative dancing. I mean, there's a lot of programs.
Yes, one of the new programs that we brought down in the summertime was our TRX program, and that's free to all of our members, where a lot of other places it's an additional fee.
Well, it's truly part of the community here in Berkeley Heights, and you can feel that as soon as you walk in.
Right. One of the things with the Y is we are a nonprofit organization, so we do provide scholarships to individuals in the area who may not be able to afford our services. We also have a free membership for all 7th graders for their school year. We encourage them to come in and learn how to exercise and live a healthier life.
Well, there you go. You can exercise, you can take all different classes, and you can stay fit. And guess what? It's a nonprofit. You can give back to the community at the same time. So the question isn't why go to the Y. The question is, if you're going to exercise and join the gym, why not the Berkeley Heights YMCA? Tiffany, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
The Berkeley Heights Downtown Business District is a business district, and it's there with businesses to support the area. However, it'll only be a business district if we as a community support the businesses. So we need to encourage everybody to stay local, to bring your business local. We're going to talk to Steve Guastamacchia of Pete's Place on how he conceives that concept. Steve, where do you see that concept of supporting local businesses going, and how do you do it?
Well, what I'm trying to achieve right now is to try to keep our residents local and maybe put them in an establishment locally that they've never been in before. So right now, with several other businesses in town, if you come to Pete's Place and purchase a meal, okay, you get entered into a drawing, okay, which will entitle you the chance to win a $25 gift card to various different businesses in town. Okay, the drawing is every Tuesday, and my first customer who comes in on a Tuesday morning picks the winner. Okay, and we've had several businesses that have teamed up with me already and have donated their services, everything from the YMCA to Hall's Nursery and Berkeley Hardware and so on and so forth. Everything floral, but the point of it is to keep our residents in town and maybe put them in a store that they've never been in before. And that's what I've been doing lately to try to enhance our customers to stay in town.
That's great. I think that's a wonderful idea. So businesses want to get involved, so you can just contact you about that. Now, you're also bringing people out at night. You have some really cool stuff going on to bring people out at night to create a nighttime effect in Berkeley Heights. Tell me about that.
Well, we're trying to establish entertainment, and we've had 2 months of comedy already and several months of live music and jazz and whatever it may be. And we do the stuff for the toddlers now and with the jungle gyms and entertainers coming in. And we're trying to be an establishment in town that the residents really don't need to leave. We have our new party room that was opened up somewhere around Halloween, which we accommodate up to 75 people, but now we're having these venues on the weekend of live comics and music and entertainment, and keep everybody local, a little safer. It's BYOB, so, when they're close to home.
I like that idea. So go out there, keep some business local, support the local community businesses, because guess what? If we don't support the businesses, there will be no downtown business community. Steve, thanks for all your efforts.
Thank you very much, Doc. Have a great day.
Welcome back to the show. It's the second half of the Mayor's Roundtable, and I'm going to sit back because you said something that really shocked me, that every $1 that comes into taxes to Berkeley Heights, only 15% comes to this table. Is that correct?
That's correct, Doc. And,
how can that be?
Well, there was a court decision many, many years ago which basically talked about the obligations of property owners and property taxes to pay for education. It was called T&E, thorough and efficient education. There are many in the educational field that will tell you that simply throwing money at something doesn't necessarily improve one's education. But this town has a tremendous school system, as we know, and it's one that the people in the town are proud of. And
they should be. It is.
Correct, but it costs money.
Yeah.
It costs money. And so essentially it's right about 60%, perhaps a shade over, and the county is about 23, okay? So we're left over.
Yeah,
okay.
Really.
We're the ones that collect it, but we're also the ones that write the checks then to go to these various.
So I know last year we had that big movement to secede from the county. Can we secede from GL?
Well,
is that possible? Or the school system, I should say, because there's different systems in town.
It is, and we've often told. I know Council President Kingsley has talked to people repeatedly, saying, "Look, the people to go to." All right, who are spending more money than we are is the Board of Education if you have problems with your taxes. Now, we're not advocating that the people storm the Board of Education meetings, okay, but we really try and run this budget on a shoestring when we consider what we have to do, which is why what our employees do and the effort we get from them is really tremendous. And we've got a very good supervisory staff put together now, and everybody understands the issues with respect to constriction budget issues.
That's important. So where are our top expenditures, let's say, from our budget?
Well, you begin with salaries, salaries and benefits. All right, and
that's understood.
And I think everybody understands that. Now there have been certain decisions made in Trenton which have been they're good impacts to the town in that there's an obligation now that employees pay a portion of their health care and benefits, and that is it's a formula which moves on, and that's certainly helpful. But other than salaries, you've got infrastructure concerns. And until the last 4 or 5 years, there was never a capital plan in this town.
Oh, really?
And it's a little bit amazing how you can prepare to move forward as a township without understanding what your future costs are going to be, because you just don't turn around and buy a fire truck. You just don't turn around and buy, some of the kinds of trucks that we need just on a whim.
Yeah.
There has to be some planning. So we do have a 5-year plan, which is actually a 5-year rolling plan. So it's 6. It's the year you're in plus 5. And another subject near and dear to everybody, particularly when the wintertime comes, we get a lot of snow, are roads.
Yeah.
And we have started last year a capital plan with respect to roads.
In terms of what? What does that
Well,
mean?
in terms of addressing the particular problems on the roads, we've done it in twofold. One, the individual who's in charge of our DPW has personally walked every street in the town, and I know
Wow.
he has because he submitted a report. And he
By the
graded
mile.
and he graded each of those roads from good, fair, poor, et cetera. So we are trying to address the paving of those roads in an inverse order.
Wonderful.
So, and towards that end, we've made some purchases in last year to enable our DPW people to address these things on a year as the year moves on. For example, we had purchased a hot box, which allows the placement of tar and covering in certain weather that
inclement
otherwise
weather,
we would
yeah.
not be able to do so.
Got it.
Now that deals with patching. It doesn't deal with fixing completely a road. But most of the immediate calls you get from people in town is, I stepped into a pothole and up to my knee.
Yeah.
And or the car that fell in a pothole. So to the extent we can get them done quickly and address citizens' immediate needs and then do the long-term project, that's our goal.
Wonderful, wonderful. So the infrastructure, taking care of the roads, it's going to be important. You got your staffing lined up. Now, what about other initiatives going through in town? What else is coming down through City Hall?
Well, we have our master plan. Our township master plan is due to be revised, examined, if you will, in about a year and a half.
Okay.
It's our goal to begin to look at what we need to do with that now.
Got it.
And what I hope to do is to put a group together of citizens in town, and I am in the process of putting the mission statement together myself, which will deal with where is this town going and how are we going to get there.
Nice.
Okay, and obviously it'll work in conjunction with the downtown beautification, but they have a limited obligation, and they did that very well. But I think there's a lot of other issues that people constantly come forward. So what I want to do is get maybe 6, 7, 8 individuals in the township, all of whom do different things. For example, someone may be in a business, for example, realtors. Realtors understand what sells.
Yeah, yeah.
So why wouldn't I want to hear from a realtor as to what maybe should be done? We may, for example, the YMCA.
Hopefully we can get that to happen.
Well, that's true, but the YMCA, for example, they made a decision to stay here. So they did their demographic study, and so why do you stay here? And what is it about this town that can be better? What do we need? So, I
That's
think
all part of the master plan.
That's all part of us preparing for the master plan. So, and then ultimately the master plan is the obligation of council members and the mayor in conjunction with the planner, who would that be. But clearly in today's running of government, with the limitations you have, fiscal limitations, you've got to get ahead of things. And that's our goal with respect to that.
To be ahead. Now, Union County still taking some money. We lost the succession bid. They do manage a couple of our roads in town. Any other, well, let's maybe put it direct. What's your relationship with the county, and what can we expect you working with them moving forward? Because we did just try to succeed from them.
Well, I think in the secession effort was as much this town, as well as other towns in the area, I'm sure about the same way, saying someone has to start listening to us a little bit, okay? We're out here in this part of the county, but you're taking our tax dollars also. I think what the county did in selling Runnels, privatizing Runnels, we gave them significant kudos for that, and we were rather vociferous in that issue a few years ago. But I think the county did the right thing, and we applauded them for that. There is some suggestion by certain individuals that perhaps the county can undertake more responsibility for some of our roads, which, the immediate suggestion sounds plausible, perhaps helpful, but we need to consider when there is a circumstance of snow and weather, our DPW gets out there immediately.
Yeah.
All right, so someone may say, well, maybe it'll be cheaper for us if somebody else does the road, but then we can't guarantee that that road's going to get done as quickly, and I can guarantee you who will hear it if it's not done quickly. So, but we are working. I've reached out to a couple of representatives of the county, and I think that relationship will be a good one, and there may be some things we can do on the recreation side.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, first term, first month, how can we get in touch with you? How can the citizens get in touch with you when they want to voice their opinions or ask you a question?
Well, they can certainly get in touch with me as well as any other council member through our respective emails.
Okay.
And anyone can come down to Town Hall and contact our business administrator, John Basicolo, who is on the job for a couple of months, and get to him, and he can get to me, and I can guarantee you that if a citizen has an issue and it gets to John, John will respond to that individual.
So, new business administrator, what are your thoughts about having him on the show, maybe?
Well, Doc, you read my mind. I intend on having him at our next meeting.
Excellent.
What I hope to do is at each of the meetings have either an employee or someone who's in a supervisory capacity in town and/or council people join me to talk about what they do, what he or she does, and specific. John is a great addition. My 4 years as a council person and my 10 months as acting mayor, the one thing I understood very quickly is that you cannot manage towns anymore by simply relying on individuals who have spent their entire professional life necessarily in the public sector.
Yeah.
And I felt that towns needed to be run like a business.
Of course.
And
so all governments do.
Absolutely right.
All levels.
Absolutely right. And John comes out of the private sector. John understands profit and loss statements.
Nice.
He's dealt with unions, and he's dealt with shareholders. And we have shareholders. All right, we have about 13,500 shareholders. So I think we have an obligation to give them the best services we can, and I think John understands that. So we're very excited to have John on board, and I'm pretty sure he will join us at our next meeting.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we look forward to it. So a nice vision. You're looking down the road. You've cleaned up some of the things from the last administration, the last year, which is great. Labor contracts are all under set. They're all under control. We're all moving forward smoothly. So in a synopsis, what do you want the citizens, your constituents, to know about your administration? What to expect?
When Mark Fasher, our new councilman, and Gene Kingsley and I ran, we ran under the theme of together moving Berkeley Heights forward. And when I say together, I just don't mean the council people, I mean everyone in town. And I've encouraged, I continue to encourage everyone, get out there, coach kids, get involved at the schools, get involved with what your churches do. Because otherwise, a town becomes a community when the individuals within that community and that township work together to move forward. That's what makes a town a community.
Nice.
So that's what we're looking
That's
to
nice.
do.
And Berkeley Heights has always been recognized as a community. So many families come back generation after generation after generation. And one of my patients the other day says, you know what I really like about Berkeley Heights is I can walk just about everywhere and do whatever I need to do downtown. It really makes it feel like a little community. And I wasn't even solicited, so clearly you're on the right track.
Well, maybe we can find that person and bring them on.
There you go. We'll give him a job.
We'll
I'll let
give him a job.
her know. I think she's looking.
Okay.
Mayor, great time.
Thank you,
Really
Bob.
enjoyed it.
Thank you.
It's going to be a wonderful tenure. We're going to have a lot of fun. Once again, the Mayor's Roundtable will be back on a monthly basis, and we want to hear from you. So contact the mayor. You can contact me at my email, drdefabio@aol.com. But regardless, we're here to serve you. We're here to get the information out. Looking forward. Together we work better. And what was that? It was Together We Work?
Together, moving Berkeley Heights forward.
There you go.
There you
Together we're moving Berkeley Heights forward. I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to hearing from you. And tune into the next show with the Township Administrator. It's going to be a great one. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you.
Good job.